Whoa, hey guys.
Whoa, hey guys.
It has been a while. I think it's been like 10 months since I made a video, but we are back making another Femgirl Fishing video. Very cool. I am so autistic. I think so much time has passed since I last uploaded a video that the only things that can even witness this video being posted are either Greenland sharks or that shriveled up old lady from the SpongeBob chocolate episode.
I can't hear you! They're selling!
Femgirl Fishing.
That's selling!
Femgirl Fishing.
I remember when they first invented
Femgirl Fishing.
sweet
Fishing.
I always hated it!
Which is weird considering I have so many videos that I could have finished or edited and I just never got around to it. There's actually several lost Femboy fishing episodes that I never uploaded. These videos were episodes I either never fully finished recording for one reason or another, all the way up to videos that were completely filmed but I just never finished editing them. I thought, before I start regularly uploading videos again, why not go back and look at some of the older content that I never uploaded. The most common reason that I never uploaded a Femboy fishing episode back in the day was mainly because I had one rule for every single video, and that was that a fish had to be caught in the video or I wouldn't upload it. So a lot of episodes, especially early on in the channel's history, had to have a fish caught for it to be uploaded. The first 5 episodes of Femboy fishing, there was no lost media that came from that. The first 5 episodes were all recorded in order, unless you want to say that maybe the footage that I deleted or edited down from those episodes is lost, then go off, I guess. But generally speaking, the first 5 episodes of Femboy Fishing, there is no lost content from that. But when you get to episode 6, that's when we finally get into the first example of Femboy Fishing lost content. So for context, episode 5 of season 1 was kind of the first episode that I kind of became popular, so to say. There was a couple of big Femboy Twitter accounts at the time, and they reposted screenshots from the previous 4 episodes, and with that I got a big influx of viewers to my channel. And because of that, I wanted to do something kind of interesting for episode 6, because this would be the first episode that I would make since becoming popular, sort of. And in episode 5, something that I mentioned was the fact that I wanted to do a goth fishing episode.
How do you guys feel about next episode, me dressing up a little goth? I want to get goth aesthetics going on. Maybe fish closer to the night and, I don't know, wear all black and catch some, I don't know, something.
I thought, well, why not for the next episode then? Why don't I do a goth fishing episode? And that might be popular with some of the new people that are coming to see my channel. Random tidbit side note here. I never planned to make any more than 5 episodes of Femboy Fishing. That initial wave of popularity that I got after I made episode 5 was kind of the main reason why I kept making videos, was because I had people that wanted to see more. Because, I don't know, I started the channel as a joke, and it was getting harder and harder for me to go out and film videos and the logistics of all of it. Surprisingly, there's a lot more planning that would go into just dressing in a skirt and going out into the woods and fishing than you would think. Yeah, so I went out to film season 1, episode 6, where I was going to dress goth, and it was going to be a goth fishing episode. And yeah, it did not go as planned. Early on in the channel's history, and this was also a short period of time after I had moved to the country, I did not understand how trespassing laws worked. I was kind of stupid. I still can be kind of stupid from time to time, but at least I understand how trespassing laws work. I just assumed that any random dirt road that goes out into a farm field that leads to a creek, that I could just use it. Which I guess in my defense at the time, if there's no signs or fences, or sometimes they'll spray purple spray paint rings around trees, anything like that which would tell you, hey, this is private property. I didn't see anything like that, so I don't know, maybe you can cut me some slack there. Either way, you should not go just driving down random dirt roads and expecting that, it's going to be public property, because a lot of the times it's not, especially here in the United States. So yeah, I got in trouble a few times for trespassing, I will be honest, early on when I started making videos. Now I have specific public access points for rivers and places that I fish for videos and just even off camera. So I'm a lot smarter about it now, but back then I wasn't. So there was this one creek, which was a creek that I would eventually end up fishing later on in season 1. It's a creek I've actually fished a couple of times. But yeah, I drove down this dirt road that led to the creek that I thought was a good access point, and I parked kind of on the side of this dirt road, and then I went to fish the creek. And like, I was dressed in like, I had like this sort of like long sleeve black t-shirt on. I had like fishnet stockings. I had like black eyeliner on with my mask and like black nail polish. Like, I was trying to look as goth as I could, which I guess in hindsight wasn't really that goth. But yeah, I was only there for 10 minutes when a white truck drove down the dirt road, and I panicked. Keep in mind, I used to be also very socially anxious back then when I filmed these episodes. I'm not so much socially anxious anymore. Like, if I go fishing in the woods and I run into some random people and I happen to be wearing a skirt or cosplay or something, it doesn't really faze me anymore, but back then it used to. So yeah, when I saw a white truck coming down the dirt road towards me, and I can only assume it was the landowner, I panicked, and that white truck followed me all the way down the dirt road, and then once I got down kind of the main junction where the main road was, I drove away, and the guy didn't follow me. So I can only assume he was probably the landowner, and he was probably seeing like, who the hell is this person that's coming down and trying to park here and fish my creek. But that was not the end of that day's antics though, because I ended up driving to a different creek to try to, you know, salvage the episode if I could in some way. And at this other creek I went to, there's this access point I found where you have to park on the gravel next to the river to be able to access it. There was a lot of mud underneath this gravel, so when I went to park my truck over it, I got stuck in it, and the 4-wheel drive in my truck was not helping me get out of this like rut that I was in. Yeah, so I ended up flagging down like 2 guys in a tractor that were on the dirt road nearby, and they pulled my truck out of the gravel. And after that happened, I just decided that I didn't want to film anything more after that. Unfortunately, all of the content from that episode was deleted and it is completely lost. I can't find any pictures or videos or anything saved of it. The only evidence I have of this episode's existence was a tweet that I made explaining what happened. But that's the first example of Femboy Fishing lost content. So the next lost episode was originally going to be Season 1, Episode 11. This episode was also originally going to be the first episode that would feature Russer. And also, if I would have caught one, this would have been the first episode where I would have caught a trout. I didn't end up catching one, but it was the first episode where I was fishing in a place that had trout. So for this episode, we went to one of the larger trout streams that I have near our house. It's a wild trout stream. And we had literally just gotten Russer I think not even a week prior. Like, Russer was basically a newborn puppy at this point. This was his first time that he had ever gone fishing. And because I didn't know if I could trust him to be off leash because he was so young and it was a big river, I put him in a kennel.
This is Russer. He's a little standard poodle, and I love him. He likes to be a little rascal, so if he gets too bad, I have his kennel up there, but...
So I had him sit in his kennel behind me while I filmed.
Russer, no.
I quickly realized that this was not going to work because I was kind of stuck to fishing this one pool. Like, I couldn't easily pick up his kennel and like cross the river very well, especially because it was a very big river. It can actually be dangerous to cross, especially with higher water, which on this particular day, the water was a little higher than normal, so it would be straight up unsafe to cross, let alone with a puppy and a dog kennel. So after we thoroughly fished the first pool that I brought them to in the river, I pretty much gave up filming. I also forgot to mention, Russer was not the only dog that was brought along in this episode. I also brought along our other dog, Abby. She is a miniature greyhound whippet mix, and had I would have uploaded this episode, this would have been the only episode that she would have appeared in. Unfortunately, Abby ran away 3 years ago and never came back. And by now, given her old age at the time, she probably isn't alive anymore. Rest in peace, Abby. I love you, girl. So this next lost episode would have actually been the first episode of season... Goodness gracious. Oh my god, this is awkward. This is... That pizza I had for lunch is just not... It's not... Anyway. This episode is actually the first example of Femboy Fishing lost media that I actually have a ton of footage for. In fact, this was nearly a complete episode. This one kind of stumps me because, like, I don't even remember why I didn't upload it. Like, I could have edited it and uploaded it. I just didn't. Like, I caught fish in this episode, so that whole rule that I mentioned earlier where I had to catch a fish for a video to get uploaded, like, I caught fish. I caught several, actually. Maybe I just didn't think the episode would have been entertaining at the time. Again, I don't know. I don't know what my reasoning was at the time. This episode was filmed at the same spot that you guys have probably seen many times before. It's also where the goth episode that did actually get uploaded was filmed at.
As you can see, the water level is very high right now. There's a lot of current way up there. Also, it is a little windy right now, so please forgive me if the wind interferes with the camera at all.
But yeah, the river was running pretty high that day. The wind was pretty bad. There was one clip where the wind was so bad it actually blew my skirt up. I'm not going to show you guys that clip for obvious reasons. But I switched through quite a few lures in that episode, and it took me a little bit, but I did eventually catch a long-ear sunfish.
Oh, I got one. There we go. Right before I reeled him in, he bit the lure. Oh, not a bad sized sunfish. Took me by surprise. Look at him, guys. He's such a beautiful little sunfish. Such a cool fish. I love him.
We also saw some bass too, but they were being really, really picky.
I don't know if you guys can see, but see right there? That right there is a bass swimming around.
And then towards the end of the episode, I hiked up to this one kind of grassy bluff that overlooked a deep pool.
Look at him. He's just your ordinary little bluegill, but that doesn't mean I love him any less than any other fish. Thanks for letting me catch you, buddy. We'll see you later. Don't do that. Nope. First cast, I got it stuck in that brush right there, and I lost my lure. I'm gonna take this as a sign that I need to use the worms, so.
I guess I switched to bait fishing, and I was throwing like some worm night crawlers on a hook, which also, now that I think about it, that would have been the first instance of me bait fishing for a Femboy fishing episode.
So I decided to go with my original plan, and I tied on a little night crawler on a hook with a bobber. It's probably one of the most classic ways to fish ever, and I haven't ever really fished with actual live bait before for a Femboy fishing episode, so. There. And just kind of roll this in. See if they're. Oh, right away. Oh my goodness, I did not expect it that quickly. Oh, that's a nice sized bluegill too. I mean, right when I put it in there, he went after it. Another nice sized bluegill. Not a bad sized little bluegill. Kind of like the one we caught earlier, but we caught this one using night crawlers.
I actually caught a lot of fish, which again, like, with how many fish I caught, like, how is this episode never uploaded? But yeah, I caught those bluegill, and then I said this.
These sunfish and bluegills have been very good to us today. So we're going to give them the rest of our night crawlers. Enjoy! They're probably down there being like, dude, this is totally poggers. Or they're just down there like,
Yeah, okay. That clip alone is probably why the video didn't get uploaded. That's pretty bad. So from that last Lost episode into the next Lost episode that we're going to cover, there was a near 2-year gap of no Lost content. So basically everything that was recorded from that last episode all the way up until this next episode, there was no Lost content that was recorded. Everything that I recorded was edited and uploaded and finished. So this episode was going to be one of the middle episodes of season 2. I don't remember which episode number it would be, probably like episode 11 or 12 originally. But we're gonna call this the pig hoodie video. It's pretty self-explanatory. I was wearing a hoodie with pigs on it for the entire video. Yeah, but for this episode, we went to fish the lake near our house. This video was also filmed in April. Something that I struggle with on the lake near our house is bass fishing in spring. Bass fishing in the lakes can sometimes be a bit different than bass fishing in the rivers, especially during spring, because spring is around the time when they're normally going through their spawning periods. When black bass species go in and out of spawn, it can change where they will be within the lake, and sometimes that can be hard to figure out. But yeah, I really wanted to catch a big bass for this video, because even though spring lake fishing for bass can be difficult, like it could be difficult to locate them, if you can locate them, that's often when you catch like some of the biggest bass in the lake, like throughout the year, at least in my experience anyway. We walked down to the lake near my house from the cove of our creek, which is something I've done in a few videos I think now. It's the cove of the lake that the creek on our property feeds into. I brought 2 rods with me. I brought one for lures, and then I brought one pole setup that was going to be for bait fishing. And yeah, I tried to fish that cove so hard, and I was struggling so bad.
I haven't seen any bass surfacing when I was fishing over there, so I figure maybe we'll fish this side, and then if we still don't see any surface, either for this or just in general, we might switch to something different. I don't know. So I decided to put on, I think it's a half-ounce rooster tail, I think it is. Rooster tails are very versatile lures because they make a loud spinning vibration which can attract lots of different fish. I'm kind of wondering, since the fishing is kind of slow, if I should set out a second rod. I brought a collapsible spinning rod with me that has almost the same exact line and everything. This wind is unbearable.
After I fished with my lures, I set up my bait rod and I tried to fish with that. And then a bass boat with some guys on it pulled up into the cove.
All right, so change of plans. I was in the middle of setting up my bait hole right there before we were gonna go find some worms, and another boat with 2 people on it showed up and started coming towards me. So I went and hid in the woods. Oh man.
Now keep in mind, this was still during the period of time when I was still pretty socially anxious about running into other people while fishing, and I kind of just waited in the woods for a while I waited for these guys to hopefully leave. I also went into this whole like snacking bit for some reason where I ate a Cliff Bar and talked about the origin of where Russer's name came from.
I changed the camera angle so you guys could see Russer better. He's a good boy. Russer's a very good boy. You guys might be curious about where Russer got his name from. Russer got his name from a Canadian's kid show called Nanaland. This wind can go away anytime now.
But eventually, the boat finally left, and I found some worms in the woods that I could use as bait because I was running out of bait. With that, I ended up catching one little sunfish.
That's a fish. I got a fish. Oh, it looks like a little long ear. He's a pretty little guy. For a second, I thought we weren't going to catch anything for the rest of the day, but he took the worm and bobber, so.
And after this point, I just kind of gave up. I probably still could have salvaged an episode out of this, but for whatever reason, I just didn't feel like finishing the video after that point. Kind of a side note, I'm sure all of these encounters with local fishermen where I run into the woods when spooked have probably inspired some kind of local cryptid. Am I saying that word right? Cryptid?
Cryptid.
Anyway, it's probably inspired some kind of cryptic about like a femboy running into the woods once they're seen, only to come back as like an horrible eldritch horror beyond comprehension. I did make a few memes from this idea.
What whimsical creatures. Let's invite them in for tea.
We thank you. We love some tea, little silly boy.
This is the last forest you're haunting, you son of a bitch.
Enemy over.
So with this next one, now we are jumping into Season 3 Lost Episodes. We are already at Season 3. This episode was another fully completed episode. So I completely finished recording, I just never fully edited it and uploaded it. And this was mostly due to life issues in my own personal life that came up at the time. Yeah, this episode was filmed at another local creek near my house. I'm sure you guys are getting really tired of me saying, oh, another local creek, another river, this creek, this particular creek. Anyway, I really don't have much to say about this one. We just caught a bunch of sunfish this episode. I was fly fishing, and I decided to wear this dinosaur hoodie for some reason. Yeah, there we go. That's cool. It's a green sunfish. There is a bunch of those in here. Oh, no! Yeah, it's a nice little green sunfish. They can actually get pretty big in here. Like, I've caught some in here that are about twice this size, so. We fished in front of a lot of pretty rock bluffs. We even caught a bluegill and long-ear sunfish hybrid, which was pretty cool. There we go. I took it. It's a long-ear! Let's go! There we go. You know, I like catching long ears. Okay, these types of long ears aren't, they're not super common. I mean, they're common enough that you can catch them sometimes, but they're not like super common. This is a hybrid bluegill long ear sunfish. And the reason I can tell is look at the scale pattern. I don't know if you guys can see it. It might be harder for you guys to notice it, but I've caught so many of these guys I can identify it. They have a bluegill scale pattern down the sides. They've got the head of a long ear and they've got the scale pattern of a bluegill. Thanks for letting me catch you, little long ear. I'll see you later. Or should I call you bluegill? I don't know. If it's a hybrid, what do you call it? Do you call him a long ear or do you call him a bluegill? I'm just gonna call him hybrid. See you later, hybrid. That's a fish. I think it's another sunfish. Yep, it's another bluegill. Simply put, this video was recorded right around the time that my mom was being taken to the hospital because of her ongoing health issues. I was taking a lot of trips up to the hospital to see her when she was up there, and then she passed away. And everything related to that distracted me from editing the video and uploading it. And by the time everything settled down with my family and I was emotionally stable again, it had already been several months since I recorded it, and I just didn't want to upload it anymore. Most lost episodes in hindsight, I feel like I could have edited them and finished them somehow, but this is the one I don't really beat myself up for. I was really going through a lot at the time dealing with that, and I mean, that situation is far more important to me than editing a fishing video and uploading it to my channel. I think maybe you guys can understand that too.
Russer! Come here, Russer! Come here, Russer!
So now we get to talk about the Lost cosplay episode. Generally, episodes where I cosplayed a character were always finished. To be honest with you guys, it's because those ones tend to get the most views. Not that I'm doing these videos only for views, but I mean, you know, it is kind of nice sometimes to get a little more views, and if cosplaying a funny anime femboy can, you know, maybe encourage you guys to watch my videos more, then I will happily do it. There was one instance of a cosplay episode never getting uploaded, and that was an Astolfo cosplay episode. The second one, not the first one. There was going to be a second Astolfo fishing video. This would have been a season 3 episode. Something that I've always wanted to do, and it's something that I'm still trying to do, like even to this day. I really want to catch a big fish while dressed in cosplay. Like, I want to catch like a giant, like 25 or 30 inch trout, or like a big largemouth bass, or a catfish, or something, you know, dressed as like Miku, or I don't know, some candy colored anime character, because I think that's funny and I think it looks cool and it kind of makes me feel like a badass. So I really wanted to do that for this episode, and I was trying to think, like, where can I go where I would be able to catch like a really big fish and maybe have a high chance of catching a big fish. And I thought, why not go to Lake Tenicomo? For context as to what Lake Tenicomo is, it is a local trout tailwater fishery that is in my area. In case you don't know what a trout tailwater fishery is, essentially a trout tailwater fishery is when you have a river that feeds out of a hydroelectric dam. Because essentially what happens is, when you have a large dam that impounds a reservoir, oftentimes when they go to generate electricity, they're pulling water from the bottom of the lake. And then that water goes through the turbines and it gets dumped out into the river below the dam. And usually in a lake, especially a deep lake, the water that's at the bottom of that lake is far colder than the water that's at the top. So essentially, because of that, a lot of dam tailwaters, like the river that comes out of a dam, that's what a tailwater is called, they're oftentimes very cold. In particular, a lot of dam tailwaters in the US are also famous for producing very, very large trout, because often there's a lot of things like scuds or other types of aquatic insects that are living at the bottom of the lake, and then they get pushed in through the turbines, and then that becomes trout food in the river below the dam. I just realized I'm kind of info dumping about trout here. I should probably just make a video about trout tailwaters and how they work. If you guys want to see that, leave a comment. Anyways, point is, Lake Tenicomo in particular is kind of a weird tailwater because it's both a lake and a river at the same time. You have Table Rock Dam, which impounds Table Rock Lake, and Table Rock Dam in particular is a very large dam. It produces electricity, and that water that comes out of Table Rock Dam is cold. But then farther downstream is a smaller dam, well, smaller relatively speaking, and that's called the Powerside Dam. And because there is an impoundment there, it means that the bottom half of Tenicomo is more lake-like and the upper part of Tenicomo is more river-like. And it creates this weird environment where, like, in the middle sections of Lake Tenicomo, it's both a river and a lake at the same time because it's a lake, technically speaking. There's a dam on the other end that makes it a lake, but it's still got the cold water releases from Table Rock going into it, which means, you know, it's got current on the top of it and it's cold. So it's both a river and a lake at the same time. It's really weird. Getting off of that tangent for a second, Lake Tenicomo is a very famous tailwater, which is known for producing some very, very large trout. So I thought, why not fish Tenicomo, a place that's famous for having big trout, as Astolfo? Because then, you know, maybe I can get a cool video where I catch like a big trout and I'm dressed as Astolfo. That would be really funny, I think. So we ended up working out that our friend Chase, which if you guys have watched my previous videos, you know who Chase is. He was in the season 2 finale, and we essentially planned that me, Chase, and my brother were going to rent out a boat on Tenicomo. I was going to cosplay as Astolfo, and we were going to try really, really hard for me to get a big trout. Yeah, it did not go very well. The first issue was I didn't do a very good job trimming the wig that I had bought for the Astolfo cosplay. So because of that, I had a lot of like wig hair fibers in my face. There was a couple of instances where I was casting my flies behind me and I couldn't see anything behind me because my whole face was covered up in like pink wig fibers. And I almost whacked my brother and Chase a few times in the head with a big streamer fly, which is something that we are using to try to catch like one of those bigger Tenicomo trout. They were generating water at the time, like a lot of water, so we were drifting downstream on Tenicomo pretty quickly. We weren't catching anything. I tried spin fishing a little bit and I couldn't catch anything. That looks like that color. If it ain't chartreuse, it ain't no use. My brother, who was driving the boat, accidentally ran the boat up on a gravel bar, which ended up damaging the prop.
What up to two?
Trout
Hold on, hold on.
Trout everywhere in here.
Hold on, guys, hold on.
Oh shit.
God damn it.
What happened?
Can you not lift up the prop? I am right now. God, fuck. So we had to pay for the damages for the boat rental. So already, things were not off to a good start. We decided after the boat didn't really work out that we were just going to go to the upper section of Tenicomo because they had just turned the water off after the whole boat fiasco happened. And we decided that we're just going to wade fish and maybe I can catch a trout that way. We went to the upper section over by the hatchery and we were wade fishing, and the fish were so picky. I couldn't get them to eat anything. There was a lot of people that were there. It wasn't working out. So in a last-ditch attempt for me to try to make an episode out of this, because I was getting really tired by this point. We'd already fished 2 different places and we weren't catching anything. I wanted to make a video and get it over with. So I decided to drive a little bit north from Tenicomo to one of the wild trout streams that I like to fish all the time. Yeah, I showed up and I fished it, and like, I caught fish. I mean, they were mostly just little, like, 6 or 8 inch long wild trout, but like, I did catch fish. As I started fishing there and I caught those few fish, I kind of just gave up filming. I was really tired and I really had my hopes set on catching a really big trout, which I guess technically speaking, there is some big trout in this wild trout stream I was fishing, so I guess I could have caught one, but you're not going to catch a big wild trout nearly as likely as you would catch a big like stalker trout out of Tenikomo. I gave up after catching those few fish, and the episode never got uploaded. Not all of the footage went to waste. I did end up making an Instagram reel from it. If you guys follow my Instagram, you may have seen this reel. That was actually from that lost episode, but the actual episode itself, that was never uploaded. So after that cosplay episode, that was really the last lost Femboy fishing episode example that I can bring up. But there was other lost content that I've made since then. I don't think it makes sense to label other types of lost Femboy fishing content as lost Femboy fishing episodes, since not every type of content I've made is an episode, and some things I've made are kind of also in a weird gray area, because there is some lost or unused content that I've made like within the last year, and I wouldn't really feel right calling it like Femboy fishing lost content, because since then I have transitioned. I'm now a trans woman, so I don't really want to call it a Femboy fishing video. It'd be more like a lost Femgirl fishing video at that point. Regardless of that, I'll still include some more modern lost or unposted media. So last year, me and my brother took a trip to Washington State to fish for native trout and possibly salmon. We stayed with our cousin, who, by the way, has this incredible bird named Taz. Taz is awesome. Like, Taz will like sit on your shoulder and walk around, and I love Taz. Anyway, beside the point. I thought that maybe this Washington trip could be like a season 3 finale of sorts, mainly because I thought it would be an interesting trip to make into a finale, and also because I kind of just wanted to end Femboy fishing at this point and transition over to Femgirl fishing, no pun intended. That season 3 finale never really came to be. For that trip, we fished in a few places. Mainly, we fished the Puget Sound for native coastal cutthroat trout, and then we also fished the Yakima River for native rainbows and hopefully native cutthroat trout. We went fishing for coastal cutthroat trout first. Coastal cutthroat trout fishing is kind of interesting because you're essentially fishing like a rocky saltwater beach for trout, which is not the typical environment that you usually catch trout in. Usually you catch them in like rivers or streams or sometimes in lakes, but catching like something that looks like a rainbow trout out of like essentially like a saltwater beach kind of is an interesting experience. But anyway, but yeah, we fished multiple beaches, and from that I managed to catch one little baby native coastal cutthroat trout. My brother did not catch any. And that was kind of the end of us fishing for coastal cutthroat trout on that trip. So then we went to Eastern Washington the following day. We were going to go fish the Yakima River, which has native rainbow trout and native cutthroat trout among a bunch of other different species of fish. The Yakima River is way harder to fish than you would think it is. It was actually really frustrating, and like my brother was determined to catch something out of the Yakima. We fished the Yakima like multiple times in different places of the river. We fished the upstream part of it, we fished the downstream parts of it, like in the canyon. We spent multiple days fishing the Yakima, and the only thing that we caught was my brother caught a small little white fish, and I caught a baby Chinook salmon, which I think that was cool. Like, I was very enthusiastic about catching that baby Chinook salmon, but my brother was he was not as happy as I was. And yeah, with that, we went home, and I still saved all of the footage, but I didn't end up making any kind of video out of it because I kind of didn't really know what to do with the footage. And you know, even though that first Washington trip was a little more rough and the fishing was more slow, I did come back a few months later to help my cousin, who we were also staying with previously, to help her move to her new house. And she let me go fishing on one of those days that I was there, and I ended up fishing one of the tributaries of the Yakima River, and I caught like a big native like West Slope cutthroat trout and like a bunch of native rainbows. Like, it kind of made up for that first time that we were there and we didn't do so well, because like the fishing was amazing the second time I went. So the last unposted video that I'll mention was a trout catch and cook video that I filmed last summer. We fished another river that I've also fished in other videos. In fact, it's actually the same river that I filmed the Felix Argyle cosplay episode at. But I fished this river quite a bit for trout and bass. For this particular episode, we wanted to keep the trout that we caught. And I mean, like, honestly, like, I still want to upload this video. I was just kind of too lazy to edit it. I don't really want to say too much about this other video because there is still a chance that I'll edit it and finish it and upload it. if you guys want to see this video, let me know. Who knows, it might even be the next video uploaded after this one. That would be cool. I was actually wrong. I was wrong. The last video I just mentioned was not the last piece of lost Femboy Fishing / Femgirl Fishing content that's out there. No, the last piece of lost media I will actually show you guys is this video. That's right. This is not the first time I have tried to record this video. A week prior to this video being posted, I tried to film this video at my best friend's house. I ended up scrapping it. The lighting was really, really bad. Her family was awkwardly interrupting me multiple times throughout the video. Become the goth fishing episode. My friend's family are talking and it's kind of loud. Can you guys be kind of quiet? I'm recording a video. Thank you. It was just very awkward. I kind of stuttered on my words a lot. I was reading my script from a laptop, and I mean, technically, right now I'm reading my script from a laptop here, but I mean, like, I was like this the whole video. Like, it was bad. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna try and start making more videos after this episode comes out. I know I said that with the previous video I made, but I'm out of school. I've got more free time now to make videos, and I really want to make videos again. Let me guys know what you want to see. I have a bunch of stuff planned, but if you guys have any suggestions for anything that you might want to see in future videos, please let me know. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye!